Hello, 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 everyone. Happy Thursday, Unemployment Thursday. Well, jobless claims Thursday, actually. Non-farm payrolls is tomorrow. How is everyone doing? Good morning, Options 22. Good morning, Sterling. Good morning, Patrick. Good morning, Martinez. Good morning, Anissa. Richard. Coco lives. How's Bobby? Bobby's fine. We haven't seen Coco in forever. Good morning, Jacob. Good morning, everybody. So, yeah, it's the massive rally still after the Fed pause yesterday. Rally continues. We got the initial jobless claims, which initial jobless claims was roughly where it was expected, slightly up. Continuing jobless claims was a bigger jump up, but the bigger thing was unit labor costs way down. Unit labor costs, and these are preliminary numbers. So, non-farm productivity way up. So productivity up, cost down. Continuing the rally this morning, and it's just literally buy everything. If it's not nailed down, you got to buy it. You got to buy it. Ahead of Apple earnings. We'll see if they miss. But even Apple's rallying up into earnings. Factory orders coming out 30 minutes after the cash open. And then we have some bill auctions, and that's about it. And remember, tomorrow, non-farm payroll Friday and ISM services. So if we get to the heat map, you see here, well, Microsoft's actually flat, but everything else from the mega caps is up, leading the charge higher. We got the mad rush into Tesla. What else do we have? And that's, you got a lot of green on the charts. You had a lot of earnings yesterday and this morning. Groups, let's just do a quick refresh. Consumer cyclical technology comm services. It's definitely a risk on day. It's just pouring into everything, which I probably wouldn't chase it. You should have been in a little earlier this week. It's more of a trailing mode from my perspective, and just keep riding it higher if you're already in it. But this is the way the markets work. Chase it higher after a pretty strong 3-day rally. So we have in the Fed watch tool, no hikes on the table in the first cut in June next year. Still in fear mode even with this rally. And that's where that stands in terms of earnings. PayPal, there's some stuff behind the scenes that wasn't. Their headlines numbers were okay, but they're gapping up. Roku, and they're gapping up. Qualcomm, big gap up. Theirs was pretty decent. Palantir gap up. What else? Oh, Starbucks, which I said was going to release this morning, not this afternoon. Their big gap up. So it's buy everything, except Moderna. Moderna's taking it in the shorts. So Moderna is a gap down. But remember, big thing after the close is Apple earnings. Apple earnings. So could we get a little sort of damper on the market between Apple earnings and maybe possibly non-farm payrolls tomorrow? We shall see. Remember, I'm still watching for a continued bounce through Thanksgiving at least. So we will see. Even with the intermediate sell signal, we got the short-term buy signals down here. I've got this, so that sloppy head and shoulders finished the targets there. I've now raised because yesterday we clearly closed above the 62.5. So the next target area was 87.5. We're above that. Now what's the next target area? Remember, target areas are where you don't have to take profits where you take an action. So it could be moving up a stop, moving up a trailing stop. Hey, brah. So, yeah, Palantir, 18% pre-market. Can we take a look at Lilly daily close below 62.5 with a potential weekly double top? I have it qualifying by a couple cents. Remind me in a bit. So, my next target, 43.15, especially on the closing basis. And then we get into some more key support at 43.51. So, 43.15 still is my target today to watch to see if it can push up there. Key support coming in 42.70. So the prior resistance area now turning into support. So those are the levels I am watching right there. You see little little mini. Also, you had the little mini Head and Shoulders, which finished off key. There's nothing else really to talk about. I mean, there's that 42.70, 42.69 area is very key support on any pullback. I keep an eye on that 4-hour rotation zone, which is rising. So, going to be specifically watching after hours today with Apple in case Apple does miss. Could be putting at least a halt temporarily on the rally, but this rally should continue a bit longer. Again, it's buy everything that's not nailed down. So, the NASDAQ, I also raised this. You see, yesterday closing above the 62.5, went through to target this next target, 14,847, approaching the highs from October 24th. So, ratcheting this up, the key area, we're also against the 50 on the daily. So this is a very strong resistance area between about where we're trading is 14,925 and 14,970. A close above 14,970. The next minor target 15,136, 15,302. Now, I'm going to really be watching this, especially if it does close. I'll be watching because we could get a pullback before the rotation back up. Also, daily cycles getting to the top area. Keep that in mind. Now, weekly cycles are still at the bottom and trying to turn up. That's why I think this could be a multi. We could get at least a rally through the week of the 20th, at least, even with pullbacks. So, key support now coming in. Just modify a couple of these levels. Key support now coming in right around 14,850. 14,850 on a pullback. So that's what I'll be focused on, any pullbacks. About 14,800 to 14,850 with the rising 4-hour rotation zone. What else? The Dow, yes. The Dow. Let me take off the minor ones, which we blew through yesterday. The Dow approaching the next key harmonic level, 33,596, so 33,600 roughly. A close above there. My key target this would be a key target area, 33,832 to 33,940. That's between the 50 and the 200 and between the 75 and 87.5. So that's what I'm watching in the Dow. Key support now coming in at 33,350 roughly. The Russell, which took off yesterday, or more, I should have said this morning, since the yesterday open after hours and continuing high, it's coming into a key area between about 1712 and 1720. And then the next resistance area, the major area I'm watching, is right around this 1729, 1730. Support for the Russell. The major support is coming down around this 1680, 1681. All right, the VIX, which is dropping like no tomorrow, closing below the channel line, coming back on. Everything's risk on. There is no fear in the market right now. So, going to be watching this 16 area on the closing basis today. That's what I'm paying attention to. Now, VIX is getting close to oversold in cycle bottoms, but there's a lot of support in here, even support down to 1585. Let's see what's Sterling here got going on. Sorry, I can't see that against the... Why is that in white? I'll have to fix that. Took a short position in the 10-year yesterday because of FOMC at 4.8. Double top trigger to close. Just closed me out a tick at the third target, 4.6. You're very welcome. Thank you for the super chat. And I was going to get to those in a second. Let's just jump in on the DAX. The DAX actually gapped up, confirming the double but not triggering it. Gapping up open, so this could have only been traded intraday, and hitting the first and second targets. The next target area is about 15,330 to about 15,377 is very key in the DAX. Now, the 10-year notes, which did trigger the double yesterday, and pretty much hit all the targets. I'm just going to take this off right now. 107.29 area with the 50 is a very key area, and you see the candle bodies up here in the 87.5. So anywhere in here can be used as a target area, especially with daily cycles getting the top and hitting overbought conditions. So we could possibly see a pause in here, at least in the 10-year in the short term. Now the notes, the yield, the micro yield, which Sterling was talking about, you had the double top, which was confirmed on Halloween, triggered on All Saints Day, and then just went to the target, all the full target. So there we go. That one's over. If you're trying to milk it out for a little more, the major support area right now, do not ignore this support area if you're trying to. I mean, I don't think greed is good, but if for somebody who was trying to milk this out more, 4.58 would be my absolute target area. You're going into very key support with the 50. So thank you again, Sterling, for the super chat. The 10-2s. Going to see today if this triggers the double top and keeps the bear steepening off the table for a bit longer. This would then continue to put fuel on the rally fire. Remember, we talked about it Wednesday. I even said Monday about, we were getting all those Elliott wave and all those other potential buy areas, and we got the percent beat buy, and we've got the follow through beyond the rotation zone now. Dollar index, big reversal here, still in consolidation, still in a horizontal channel, but if we start really closing this week below about 105.40, going to watch for a continuing pullback in the dollar. Crude rallies are still getting sold. I'm still watching for this 79 area on crude. Nothing else there. Natty gas. Still, we have a potential double top against the rotation zone in place, but not triggered or confirmed yet. Gold still technically has a double top, the extended double top in place. Not expecting it to trigger, but still valid. Silver, if we rotate back up here, it'll be a triple top and the double will be off, but it is still technically in play at this point. The big five, I'm watching that more so than the Mag 7. Look, just gap up. Coming up, I'm going to be watching 1235. Be interesting to see how that is with Apple earnings. A gap down. Bank of Japan announcing to combat inflation. Remember, they wanted inflation. Now to combat inflation, they just announced a major stimulus package. I think it was $110 billion. I'm sorry, you're combating inflation by a stimulus package? But there you go. There you go. Can somebody explain what I'm missing by combating inflation with stimulus? And then you're getting the reversal back down the yen. Again, that it was not able to take out the major highs. But coming up there, testing it now. Fascinating enough. I mean, this would be a long way off, but it would be a completely valid trade if it does come crashing back down. Not expecting that. I think this will blow through 151 still after it pauses, after we get some pause from this run-up insanity. Euro did not close below the 62.5 and did not trade below the 75. And it's big push up, still the key target. This trade has not been invalidated, 107.13. So still holding on with the euro. The pound, however, frustratingly enough, hit the walkaway stop level, barely, but technically it's done. It's done. Even though then it went to the second target. It went to the first and second target, but that's the way it works sometimes. So that trade is over. Over. Yes, it is what we did with the Inflation Reduction Act, which I haven't seen. Well, that was a misnamed act. That should have never been named the Inflation Reduction Act. It was the Spend More Money from Stupidity Act. What do we have here? Next key target area on the spiders, 427.29. A close above that, my next target area is 430.20 to 430.91. Intermediate area I choose to at least raise a stop would be right around 425.40, 425.50. Key support coming in at 421.50. And then below that, it's right around 419.75. Yeah, the name was criminal, but we got a lot of criminals in the government. From my perspective, I will say from my perspective. And if you don't agree with me, you're wrong. Just kidding. Next key areas, since we closed above the 87.5 or the 62.5 yesterday, hit the 87.5 roughly with a gap up this morning. So where do we sit? The next key area is 362, trading 361.53. And then the next area above that would be a zone about 365.28 to 365.89. Now, if we do roll over, I forgot on the spiders, if we do roll over, the first thing I'd watch for would be the move to yesterday's highs, 423.50, and then the gap fill to the close, 422.66 before the key support. The Qs, first thing on the rollover is coming into key 50 EMA area in a prior other resistance shelf. You see right here. You see over here. So that's that 62.5, but really watch that 62.5 on a closing basis. I pay more attention to the futures, though, with Apple reporting after hours. So those are the targets, the upside. Again, if it rolls over, I'd pay attention to the high first, 357.53, and then the close, 356.96. If you know how to use the gap harmonics for the gap up, I'd use those also intraday. What else? What else do we have? We had Tesla. What was that? I missed a comment on Tesla. Then I'll get to Lilly and everything else. What was the comment on Tesla? Did I... Weekly inverse head and shoulders. It would not be... If you're looking at shoulder, head, shoulder, would not be reversing enough of a move. So that's not the way I'd be utilizing it. And you remember, you can get bounces. It's got this weekly double triggered double top pattern. This thing can bounce easily and roll over again. So I'm looking for the rollover plays. Key resistance right now, 418, 419 area. Then above that, 218 area. Then about 225. Would just take us back to the daily rotation zone. So that's where we have Lilly. What do we have on Lilly again? Where was Lilly? What did I miss? Where's Lilly? Oh, I'm trying to find. There we go. Daily close below 62.5 with a potential weekly double top. It's not a weekly double top. This side extended too much. So it's not a weekly double top. Okay, but based off this, you have, let me take a look at you have some major divergences up here. Yeah, it's closing below on the daily, the weekly double hat. On any pops, I'd be looking for rollover plays in Lilly. But it's getting to daily cycle bottom, so I'd be slightly patient and then watch for some key resistance points with Lilly. Let's just see. There's not... because it could even come back to fill this gap left behind before the next key rollover. I'd just be a little patient, but the first level of resistance would be 572. Personally, can't give trading advice, but that's personally how I'd analyze it. What else do we have? Nvidia, which is, again, party on. Party on, Garth. 434.07 is the first level of resistance to 444.67. If we get up in here and we get any negative news between this afternoon and tomorrow, we're going to be watching for a rollover in NVIDIA. But we have, again, it's buy up everything. How is Planter doing? Palantir, look at that gap up. It's still overall in consolidation. I mean, it wasn't that crazy. It wasn't that big a beat, but it's literally, I think people are counting now on everything I've heard is you just got to buy everything, even on pullbacks, because it's going to rally guaranteed through the end of the year. I think the rally is going to peter out early, but I am expecting a rally unless something really strange happens in the Middle East or Apple's and non-farm payrolls are a disaster. I'm expecting even with a pullback for another pop over the next couple weeks. That's where we sit. Remember non-farm payrolls again tomorrow. I'm glad. Thanks Sterling for the super chat. I'm glad again we're not just celebrating good trades. We're celebrating learning how to analyze and structure a trade properly, even when they don't work out, like the pound. You can't just celebrate the winning trades. You got it. What you do is you celebrate sticking to your rules, and the winners will take care of themselves, and you'll get stopped out of the losers. But you manage your stops, and that's the best thing. That my advice is you celebrate sticking to your trading plan, whether it be a winner or a loser, because longer term, that will help you be a successful trader and investor, depending on your time frame. Sticking to your plan, sticking to your stops, taking actions at targets, learning how to trail, learning how to manage the trade. The winners will take care of themselves. You'll cut the losers, and you're never going to have all winners. I'll leave it with that for today, everyone. Let's just peek in really quick at the S&P going into the open. So it's been a strong run up into the open. If we do backfill at all, your major support's 42.78 right about now. What's the best prop firms? I would not know at this point. I have been out of the prop world for, when's the last time I worked with a prop firm? 2010. So I have not looked at that. Hey, Mega Chad. So that's where we sit. I'd have to research that, my man, and I'm not going to give advice without looking into it again. I just don't play in the prop world anymore. Not because it's a problem. I just gave up all my licenses and now just do everything by myself or with Bob, from home. All right, with that, I shall talk to everyone later. Bye for now.